This video was created by Matt, Danny, and Billy for Social Studies. It's about the French Revolution and its causes.
In the 1700s, France was one of Europe's most powerful countries. French kings ruled it with absolute power. Nobles had many privileges and lived in great wealth. Most people, however, were poor, had little education, and struggled to make a living. The French people were divided into three estates or classes. The first estate was the Catholic clergy, or church officials. They did not pay taxes, and they received money from church lands. The second estate was the nobles. They filled the highest posts in government and military. Like the clergy, the nobles were free from taxes, lived in luxury at the king's court or at their country houses surrounded by large areas of land. Everyone else in France belonged to the third estate. At the top of this group was the bourgeoisie, or the middle classes. They included merchants, bankers, doctors, lawyers, and teachers. Next were the city workers, artisans, day laborers, and servants. At the bottom were peasants who made up more than 80% of the French people.
Members of the Third Estate had no voice in the government, but they paid the country's taxes. As Enlightenment ideas about freedom and equality spread, the middle class came to resent more and more privileges of the nobles and clergy. In 1788, store shortages and raising prices caused great disconnection throughout the country. At the same time, the French government was almost bankrupt because of the costly wars and increasing expenses of the king's court. After French banks decided they could no longer afford to loan the government money, King Louis asked the nobles and clergy to pay taxes, but they refused. Louis then called a meeting of the country's legislative body, the Estates General, at his palace at Versailles. It was only it was the only way he could impose new taxes, and the State General was made. Although representatives from all three estates.
In the Estates General, the nobles and clergy refused to give up their privileges. Frustrated, the delegates of the Third Estate decided to meet separately. They declared themselves to be the National Assembly and began to work on a new constitution for France. The people celebrated this victory, but they began to worry. News came that the king was gathering troops at Versailles. The people of Paris got ready to fight. Early on July 14th, 1789, a large crowd stormed a hated royal fortress and prison called the Bastille. News of the Bastille's fall spread to the countryside, where the peasants rose against the nobles. To calm the people, the National Assembly passed new laws that ended the privileges of the clergy and nobles. It also issued the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen. The Declaration said that the powers of the government came from people, not the king. In 1791, the National Assembly made France a constitutional monarchy. France was to be ruled by an elected assembly, and the king's power was limited. Louis, however, would not accept these changes. In June 1970,